Almohadilla, 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 chapter 1 te tonan persant te perfect facade. In the art of old Chicago, during the year of 1892, lifese med topulsate with the energy of a burgeoning metropolis. The clamor of orse draun carriages echoed through the cobblestone streets, while the glow of gas lamps flickered against the darkening sky. It was a city that arbored ambition, dreams and unbeknownst to most sinister undercurrents. Among the buildings boasting architectural grandeur stood the Saint Mary Orfanato, an imposing structure defined by its Gothic spires, looming over the neighborhood, a beacon of hope, or so it was thought. Founded in the mid-1800s, it had long been a sanctuary for Chicago's most vulnerable children, offering shelter from the bustling chaos of city life. Yet beneath its painted wooden eaves, something unsettling lingered. The matron of the orphanage, Sister Agnes, was a woman of formidable presence. And unwit and unwavering commitment to her charges, she was respected and feared in equal measure. Her stern demeanor was often only by her occasional warm smile. "We are here to save souls," she often proclaimed, her voice ringing through the dusty eyes, but there were whispers among the children of elusive shadows lurking beneath the surface of her authority. The orphanage housed children from various backgrounds, each with their own story of loss, a montage of grief drifting in and out of the confines of Brickwise. Among them was a young girl named Clara, who had arrived at St. Mary after the sudden death of her parents. A quiet child with dark eyes, she spent her days dawdling delicate pictures of forests and flowers in the margins of her textbooks, her escape from a world filled with sorrow. Unbeknownst to the children, the orphanage serene facade began to crack. Late at night, whispers floated through the air tales of a hidden basement where strange sounds echoed. The other children spoke of a sacred goat, a dark legend claiming that a goat once known to grace the orphanage had been sacrificed in mysterious and grotesque rites, its spirit destined to haunt the eyes of Saint Mary. On a crisp autumn evening, Clara and a few of her friends decided to venture into the dimly lit corridors of the building, drawn to the lore that shadowed their home. "I heard something strange," Clara sighed, her voice trembling as they devised a plan to sneak into the basement. It was a daring expedition fueled by curiosity and fear, a chance to unravel the secrets that lie beneath the surface. As they crept along the hallway, Clara could barely contain her racing heart, a very crack of the floorboards sending a shiver down her spine. They paused, exchanging anxious glances when a flicker of lantern light spilled into the corridor. Sister Agnes was adding their way. The children scattered, sprinting back to their dormitories, their breaths heavy with fear. That night, Clara couldn't shake the sense of something more, a darkness watching over them, inconspicuously lurking behind the comforting veneer of Sister Agnes and her pious proclamations. The perfect world of the St. Mary Orphanage wasn't as it seemed, and Clara felt a gravity pulling her toward understanding what lay within the shadows, a discovery that would bind their fates much deeper than anyone could imagine. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 2 the cracks appear. As autumn melted into a bitter Chicago winter, the deliberate winds howled around the orphanage. Fresh snow blanketed the city, yet the children's laughter seemed muted, clothed by a growing unease that settled like a fog deep within the corridors of St. Mary. Clara and her friends gathered during evenings, huddled under the covers, sharing stories about the eerie noises emanating from the basement. "Did you hear it last night?" It sounded like something was scratching. Tommy, a burly boy with a penchant for adventure, whispered to the group, "What if it's the goat? The one they sacrificed." His tone was half-joking, but fear gripped the others, twisting their imaginations into vivid fantasies of sinister spirits. From then on, whispers permeated the orphanage as some children began to notice peculiar behaviors among the staff. Sister Agnes and her assistants often met in unsaid voices, their eyes darting toward the basement door. Clara felt her curiosity ignite, setting her apart from those who chose to retreat into comfortable oblivion. One afternoon, as the children played a makeshift game of tag, Clara noticed a untingly familiar silhouette passing at the window. It was a goat regal yet airy, immersing the air with its presence. The children paused, staring, the chatter fading into a stillness that felt charged with something unseen. "Doesn't it look like the one they sacrificed?" Clara remarked, her voice breaking the silence. Yet her words drifted off the tips of anxious tongues as everyone resumed their play, dismissing the unsettling sight. But for Clara, the connection lingered. Curiosity compelled her to approach Sister Agnes in the dining iron evening, her heart thumping against her ribcage. Sister, WHY do whenever go into the basement. What's down there, she inquired, the words tumbling nervously from her lips. The flicker of Sister Agnes eyes caught Clara off guard, but her voice remained steady, touching head with so meeting Clara cold she discern. They are chilled, the basement is not for the leakers of you. It's our duty to protect what lies beneath. Just remember, not as secrets are meant to be uncovered. The conversation left a chiw wrapping around Clara's spine. Sister Agnes de Meanor had transformed. Her warm facade darkening into something menacing, fue led via conviction that ignored the children's unease. Dais passed and Clara on her bed, sought solace in her drawings, sketching the shadows that swirled around their home, an obsession that fue led her imagination and the peneder resolve. Each night, echoing owls and murmurs from the basement se eped through the wise. Children began to udle to heter on their beds, fear hanging in the air like a thick fog. Then on a evening, Clara overheard a secret conversation between Sister Agnes and another nun. A bete of fairings being completed. The children mustn't ask questions. The words reached their ears with a chilling finality, sending her heart racing, instilling a sense of dread that they wisted deep within her. She couldn't remain passive any longer. The facade of safety that Sister Agnes had constructed crumbled before her. It was time to uncover the truth. Telling herself, Clara had a plan to explore the basement, the very heart of the orphanage's darkness, where secrets lie buried, waiting to be discovered. Almohadilla, chapter 3 the breaking point. The time had come for Clara to unveil the truth. On a frigid evening, with snow gently falling outside, she quietly gathered her courage and enlisted the help of Tommy and their closest friend, Elisa. Adrenaline coursed through them as they skulked toward the basement door, each step resonating with a distant echo that fue led their fear. Standing before the imposing door, clutching through the wooden handles, Clara felt a simultaneous rise of trepidation and determination. We have to find out what's down there, she insisted, casting a glance at the others who not dead, though their expressions painted a landscape of doubt. As the door cracked open, an unsettling chill swept over them, a suffocating atmosphere that pressed against their skin. They descended cautiously, clenching tightly onto another, the faint glow of a lantern drawing them deeper into the abyss. The walls were damp, cloaked in an oppressive darkness that strayed from any sense of comfort. A cacophony of noises gradually intensified, their breathing mingling with the distant scratching, a breath of something alive outside their reach. Clara took a step forward, the lantern's light illuminating scattered debris, long-forgotten remnants coated induced. She paused upon spotting a large, crude altar at the far end of the room, its presence filling her with dread. Symbols etched into the wood revealed disturbing imagery twisted figures and horns resembling those of a goat. Suddenly they heard a shuffle from the shadows, a low rumble that cast all three into a paralyzing silence. The embedded sounds grew louder, seeming to spiral around them. Overcome with fear, Clara stepped back, losing her footing momentarily. That's when they all caught sight of a figure emerging from the darkness. It was the goat, its large, piercing eyes reflecting the lantern light, and chines racking its sides. The children screamed, a collective sound breaking through the ominous stillness, echoing of the wise, piercing the heart of the orphanage. The goat, adorned with grime and blood, seemed trapped in this Egyptian mare, its breath re-echoing of the spire. Within that horrifying moment, the legend came to life, the sacrifices woven into their innocence crystallizing into reality. In a surge of instinct, Clara led them in a desperate race toward the stairs, their hearts pounding like wardrooms. As they fled, Clara glanced back on the last time, witnessing not just fear embodied in that creature but a realization of how they were entangled within a macabre agenda that transcended understanding. Once outside, Clara, Tommy, and Elisa struggled to catch their breath, finding safety in the bitter cold. Frantically, they vowed to return, not just to save the goat, nor to reorder their fears, but to liberate the souls ensnared by the twisted rituals of Sister Agnes and her companions. The unease that permeated the orphanage morphed into a vengeful spirit of inquiry, igniting a fire deep within them that could no longer be ignored. The mossy wise of the orphanage concealed their darkest secrets, but Clara felt a determination settling within her on a that sought answers and demanded to unveil the hidden truths shrouded within the very foundation of the Saint Mary orphanage. Almohadilla, chapter 4 the truth uncovered. The following days were led in a sea of anxiety and determination, each moment spent ruminating upon the sights and sounds they had witnessed. Claras recollections of te basement te altar, te goat turned into an obsession and a mission. The reality of what lie buried beneath te wise of Saint Mary ad treatened ter childod innocense, and it felt like an unvoiced bond ad emerged among te tre. Tog fearlingered, te resolved togater te oter children, e achone arboring teir own intuition about the darkness festering in te corners of teir haven. During a quiet evening beneath the flickering light of a single candle, te united in used whispers, imparting teir cano ledge, sharing fears and their felt resolve to confront what haunted teir home. Te goat isn't just a story. It's a part of us, Clara urged, glancing at the faces around her. When ed to te everione what Sister Agnes is eating, for us for te goat, for I of tose trapped beneath. Each child the chued sentiments of anger and fear, forming about that they cold no longer reman passive witnesses. But first they needed evidence, pro of to confront Sister Agnes and unveil te facade that duyed their lives. As te group bolstered their shared courage, te devised a planto un cover more about the secret rites and rituals hidden within the dark chambers of the basement. Clara felt an insatiable yearning, this horny would not only shed light upon their world but stitch back to her the remnants of broken trust, for shadowing a reckoning that lie ahead. Under the guise of a weekend outing, Clara and her friends prepared to gather their findings. With their lanterns in hand, they made their way back into the depths of the orphanage, navigating the oppressive darkness and chanting silent prayers to shield themselves from whatever haunted the corners. Tonight they made not just to glimpse the goat, but to discover the truth behind those haunting symbols. As they traced their fingers over the crude etchings upon the altar, Clara felt a spark of clarity. The rituals were not merely about sacrifice. They were an assertion of dominion, power exerted upon the weak bitose was should protect them. So me were deep within those rituals like Lues, connecting the past with the present, they hidden cano led laying the groundwork for their survival if they dared to unveil it. Suddenly, Clara spotted a piece of parchment to ket behind the altar, partially torn, yet legible enough to fill her with a gnawing sense of urgency. TW writing stilled, art, a series of instructions intent on invoking dark energies to harness control over the children of the orphanage. An unmistakable shiver rused through eras revelations quales said. Lo que ere, Clara beconed her friends, the paper trembling in her hands. If we expose this, we can prove that Sister Agnes has kept us in darkness all along. The frantic energy pulses around them their light, flickering as the weight of their discovery set led like a shroud. But as they gathered their findings, their escape route suddenly shifted. The very foundation trembled as a distant sound echoed from the depths of the basement, an ominous reminder of the stacks they faced. United in purpose, the children sealed their fate that night, vowing to rise against the terror that had long dwelled beneath their lives, determined to reclaim the sanctity of their home. They emerged from the shadows that evening with cano led and a plan, ready to confront the silent fears that had woven their lives into a tapestry of torment. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 5, The Ride and Percent Reckoning. The morning light seeped into the orphanage, infused with an unusual tension that crackled like static electricity. With their evidence in hand, Clara and her friends felt an unwavering drive igniting their spirits. It was time to confront Sister Agnes. What if she doesn't believe us? Tommy whispered, anxiety settling in the group. But Clara remained resolute, her heart pounding with purpose, we showed the parchment. We need the oternuns to ear us to. The plan was simple. Gather all the children and present their evidence to the motor superior, hoping that fear and injustice would bring force to their plight. They gathered in the dining eye during breakfast, children from every corner of the orphanage merging into a single force, a collective voice determined to end the darkness. As the last of the children seated themselves, Clara stood atop a bench, feeling the weight of a guardian before her. Everyone we need to speak up. Sister Agnes has kept us hidden away from the truth. She's been using us. The room stirred with whispers, surprise and disbelief cascaded through them. When Clara introduced the parchment, hurriedly revealing its sinister contents before the assembly, a gasp fell across the room. The reality of their situation became tangible, each face a mirror reflecting horror and curiosity. However, before Clara could take her next breath, a figure burst through the door. Sister Agnes, candlelit aloed around her, fury etched across her features. What is this nonsense? She barked, her brows furrowing into a single shadow. She rushed toward Clara, demanding answers that fell flat against the surge of voices filling the air. A sharp jolt of fear pulsed through Clara as the atmosphere thickened. This is not a place for such talk, little hill, Sister Agnes is said, but the gathering of children's to united, a force to be reckoned with. Enog clara cried, wede serve to cano. Joe be kept us in darkness, sacrificed or innocence. We won't let Joe control us anymore. The frenzy of children ragied around their voice, emboldened by her eruption. Just then, Sister Agnes, realizing she could no longer maintain her grip, faltered. Teoter nuns gatered in disbelief, watchedas te confrontation unfolded, couch between their loyalty and their rising truth. Each child recounted the stories of fearte ad borne, each testimony peeling back the layers of betrayal Sister Agnes had spun around them like a veil. But before they could continue the air crackled, Sister Agnes, red with rage, lunged toward Clara and Tommy, intent on silencing them. In that moment, something shifted, the children surged like a tide, channeling their combined strength against the very darkness that had once enveloped them. With a final push, they stepped toward the altar, declaring their truth wasn't meant to be buried any longer. The choice of a community resounded throughout the orphanage as neighbors outside began to turn their heads, drawn to the commotion radiating from within the wise. At that moment, Moter Superior entered, taking control of the fray, recognizing the gathered testimony outweighed the silence that had long enshrouded their lives. Enog Sister Agnes, Moter Superior's voice thundered, filled with authority, let the truth unfold. The maelstrom within the subsided as Sister Agnes stepped back, the confrontation evolving into a reckoning, a collective resistance piercing through the heart of an institution long believed impervious. With eyes upon them, a new narrative began a childlike rebellion defined not just by anger, but by a world rising from the ashes of despair. Toheter te unbeled the truth that would change everything. Amidst the cacophony, the children broke free from the shackles of their undead past, reclaiming agency over their lives. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 6 Legacy and Percent Reflection. Dice turned into months, and as the dust settled over the Saint Mary orphanage, the community began to chase a alien that had long been woven into the fabric of their existence. Sister Agnes faced legal consequences for her actions, but the scars, both physical and emotional, remained with the children and the town. Clara found herself surrounded by not just her friends but an entire generation of children navigating the consequences of the reckoning. The orphanage underwent bitter transitions, building its future from hard-earned truths rather than the shadows that had governed their past. With the authorities involved, investigations took place, unraveling a network of complicity that stretched far beyond the orphanage's confines. Clara and her friends became trusted ambassadors, sharing their stories with neighboring communities, igniting the necessity of vigilance, and capturing the sense of unity in standing against abuse. They organized memorials to honor those who had suffered under the shadows, transforming them into bastions of hope rather than mere recollections. The choice of their experiences coalesced into a legacy, advocating for rights and raising their voices for children whose stories remained unheard. In a poignant twist, Clara's drawings transformed into illustrations for a book published on the importance of truth and accountability, a significant reminder about what it means to reclaim power over one's narrative. With time, the orphanage blossomed, morphing from a relic of pain into a vibrant tube of care and community, a second chance for children to embrace safety and understanding. Festivities flourished and lives transformed, I centered around the lessons learned through resilience. As I reflect on this haunting tale, I realize it serves as a reminder that every darkness is woven with threads of light, waiting to unveil itself when confronted boldly. Clara's bravery not only lifted the weight of burdened souls but paved a path from brokenness to hope. In the heart of old Chicago, as the story stretches on, it is essential to remember, what lurks in the shadows can only be defeated when we have the courage to shine a light upon them. And so it always will be, a reminder that the shadows may shape us, but they do not have the power to define us. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 7 te new down. Years passed since Clara and her friends reclaimed the truth buried within the solid walls of the Saint Mary orphanage. The unseaunting building now bustled with laughter and life, transformed into a safe haven for children who had weathered storms far gentler than those of their predecessors. Clara, now a teenager, found herself often visiting the orphanage not just as a former resident but as a guiding figure, a beacon among the new generation of boys and girls seeking refuge. The town of Chicago, too, had evolved. Conversations about child welfare gained momentum. Ante choice of tose 11 oyered befrictened children turned into articulate discussions at town eyes, classrooms, and community centers. Advocates emerged, driven by the lessons of the past, ensuring that the shadows that once cloaked the orphanage world no longer linger unnoticed. On a sunny afternoon, Clara sat in the newly established library of the orphanage, its shelves filled with books donated by supportive neighbors. The scent of a head paper mingled with the fresh pint of the renovated wooden beams. Clara watched as children gathered around, their eyes with curiosity and excitement as they explored new stories, unburdened by the tragedies of the past. Among them was a little girl named Sophie, a newcomer with striking green eyes and an enthusiasm that mirrored Clara's own childlike wonder. "Can you read to us?" Sophie asked, her voice lit with eagerness. Clara smiled, her heart swelling. She felt a need to share not only led he but the spirit of resilience that had woven through her own life. "Of course, Sophie. Let's find a good story." As they settled into a cozy corner, Clara began reading, her voice bringing tales of adventure and courage to life. But beneath the surface of her storytelling, she also sowed seeds of awareness, subtle lessons about friendship, the importance of speaking out, and the power of unity. As the days blended into months, Clara became more involved with the orphanage's operations, collaborating with the new administration to implement programs aimed at fostering emotional health among the children. Together, they organized workshops where children could express their feelings and fears through art, double writing, and music, outlets that provided healing and reconnection to their core identities. Meanwhile, she often returned to the community, now an inseparable part of her mission. On a evening, as she prepared for a talk at a local school addressing child safety and the importance of trust, Clara felt the weight of the responsibility resting heavily upon her shoulders. She stood before her peers, anxiety coiling in her stomach, and began to share her experiences, weaving together narratives from her past with a message that resonated deeply. "We must break the silence, speak out, and support each other," she urged, the room hanging onto her words. "What we feel, what we endure, those feelings define us, but they shouldn't bind us. Together we have the power to create change." After her speech, many approached Clara, sharing their stories of hardship and resilience. The room, once filled with innocent curiosity, transformed into a gathering of empathy and understanding. What began as a conversation about the past slowly escalated into a conversation about the future, about building a community where children would no longer suffer in silence. With every interaction, Clara forged the pair connections with those around her, transforming her experience from one of trauma into a platform for empowerment. Gradually, her message reached far and wide, igniting hope across neighborhoods. But amid the growth, the choice of the past continued to intrude upon her reality. That on a night, filled with thoughts of the children and the improvements they could continue to foster, Clara felt compelled to revisit the basement of the orphanage, the very spot where the shadows had taken root long ago. As she descended those familiar stairs, she felt an overwhelming wave of emotion wash over her. The darkness that had once frightened her now felt strangely familiar, a reminder of battles fought and won. Though remnants of fear lingered, the power of unity transformed the space. In that moment, Clara realized the basement could remain a sacred space. It was a symbol of their evolution, a grounding point where stories were born and lessons learned. Unable to resist the pang of nostalgia, she took a moment to sit upon the altar, the very place that had once arbored secrets of despair. This was their story, and she knew it could serve to illuminate a path forward, a space for healing, reflection, and open discussions about the past. It could become a historical landmark of sorts, a reminder that overcoming darkness gives birth to the light of understanding. With a resolute heart, Clara ascended the stairs, determined to advocate for the establishment of a museum at the orphanage. It would not merely serve as a relic of what had transpired. Instead, it would illuminate the journey from pain to empowerment, threading together the fabric of courage and resilience for future generations. Almohadilla, 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 Chapter 8, A New Legacy. Months passed, and with the unwavering commitment of the community, the vision of creating a transformative space began to take shape. Local leaders rallied around the idea, and some fundraising initiatives flourished, gathering resources not just for the museum, but for further enhancements to the orphanage, a commitment to education, healing, and awareness. Together, they planned events, inviting former residents, families, and local historians to contribute their voices and stories. Clara speareadet efforts to conduct interviews, inviting to se wo ad onse endured darkness to share their findings. The project became an embodiment of collaborative renewal, a vesel tat wold capture their collective histories and breate life into te space. Your stories matter, Clara wold te individual she interviewed, urging them to share their perceptions of the orphanage and their experiences for head them toward resilience. The sprawling narratives began forming a tapestry of voices, tangling together to create a rich paradigm of growth. As the years rolled on, the grand opening of the museum approached, a monumental occasion destined to celebrate the journey from fear to freedom. When the day finale arrived, the sun illuminated the skies over Chicago, showering the orphanage with a warm glow. Children stood together, keenly dressed, eyes glittering with excitement. Families mingled amid shrieks of joy, laughter speaking outwards, as Clara walked through the eyes, no a comfortable fusion of history and hope. Bas-reliefs adorned the walls depicting scenes of unity, resilience, and, most importantly, healing. Signage narrated the story of Saint Mary with fortrykt honesty, leaving behind the shadows that had once defiled its name. During the opening ceremony, Clara talked to the podium, her art raising a scannet the sea of familiar faces, some filled with pride, others reflecting the burdens they carried. Todai serves as a testament to our journey, she began, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. This museum stands not merely as a record of pain. It is a beacon of hope, a promise that our stories matter and that they will guide future generations toward a fearless future. Shares erupted throughout the audience, an affirmation that resonated within the very wise that had once constrained them. Clara watched as the hours of joy speckled the faces gathered around her. Through love, understanding, and undeniable strength, they had woven together their past into a legacy worth celebrating. In the warmth of the newfound atmosphere, she spotted Sophie among the crowd, her tiny fingers gripping a bouquet of flowers, a gesture of gratitude that transcended words. With a smile, Clara Cannell tomed her gaze. Thank you for believing in our journey, Sophie. The little girl responded with a smile, blossoming like the flowers she clutched, embodying the hope of an era that emerged from struggles for head in darkness. As Clara contemplated the monumental shift within the orphanage and the fabric of its shared story, she understood that while the past could not be undone, its reverberations did shape the dawn of new beginnings. Pain had paved their path, transforming sorrow into strength, a lesson each child now carried within them. The sun dipped low on the horizon as laughter echoed through the eyes of Saint Mary, the ouse of hope shining with newfound vibrancy. Clara inhaled deeply, raising her gaze towards the future, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. Thus the children danced, mocked fear, and celebrated their truth, illuminating the shadows with the promise that bravery shines brighter when born in unity. What once hid in the dark now sat proudly before the light, ready to tell a story of resilience for all time. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 9 unraveling threads of the past. As time passed in the transformed Saint Mary Museum, Clara found herself navigating the intricate layers of a healing that unfolded within the community. The space they had created pulsated with stories, each echoing the resilience of countless lives touched by the orphanage. Yet among the vibrant new beginnings, shards of the past lingered, reminding her that healing was a multifaceted journey, one that demanded confrontation as well as celebration. On a crisp autumn afternoon, Clara received a letter, a piece of correspondence that bore the potential to unravel folds of history long thought settled. The handwriting was not yet familiar, sending a ripple of anxiety through as she recognized the name at the top. Mary Langston, former nun and one of Sister Agnes' closest companions during the earlier years of the orphanage. Intrigued yet apprehensive, Clara opened the envelope. In it, Mary detailed a curious encounter that had occurred years ago, a moment of revelation hidden behind the veil of fear Sister Agnes had constructed at Saint Mary. The letter indicated that Mary had disillusioned herself with the oppressive atmosphere of the orphanage during its darkest days, yet felt compelled to confess secrets that had haunted her since Sister Agnes' downfall. Dear Clara, it began, I hope this letter finds your way and surrounded by the loved children of Saint Mary deserve. There are truths I have carried and have in my heart, and I believe it's time to reveal what I witnessed. You deserve to know the full story. Clara felt a mixture of apprehension and a yearning for closure. The letter continued, detailing painful memories, confessions of rituals and responsibilities initially masked by the unyielding grasp of Sister Agnes. Spoke of fearful whispers exchanged in dimal wise and presed secrets deep into the wise. The reality stat ad shaped the children's lives far beyond what agnone ad canon. Before mi departure, Mari W. rote, I witnessed a commitment one I med to insti fear ratertan love. I can only ope that tis revelation we help shed light on te darker corners we couldn't speak of before. I cannot te wisted witting clara stomach. The weight of Mary's words demanded reflection, not just of the events that transpired but their lingering impact upon the journey of reclamation. A sway of compassion enveloped era sherread on, realizing that Mary se med to grapple with her own complicity in the situation. Clara I wish I could climb to have acted differently, the letter finished. If I led to confront what I can in real time, but I want to help facilitate new beginnings. Yo ave mi de pest admiration forte courage yo ave mustered, I ope yo will a yo me to share mi trot. Clara sat in silence, absorbing the gravity of Mary's message. An urge to confront the past wove troger, countered by a sense of responsibility toward her friends and the other children. The shadows of uncertainty shifted, and soon she felt compelled to embark on a journey to meet Mary, to grasp everything she could about their story. A few days later, Clara set off to meet Mary at a local cafe, a small establishment adorned with warm lighting and welcoming charm. As she entered, Clara spotted Mary, a middle-aged woman was a presence mirrored that of the stern yet often affectionate nun Clara had encountered in her childhood. Thank you for meeting me there, Mary sighed, her voices of ter tan Clara had imagined. I longed to share this discussion in person. Clara nodded, feeling the weight of her own fears lasting throughout their first exchange. Thank you for writing to me. Your letter resonated, and there is so much I want to understand. As they settled into their discussion, Mary began to unveil stories wrapped in layers of regret and guilt. Sister Agnes was once revered among us, but over time her grasp tightened. It wasn't merely a question of authority, it morphed into a desire to assert dominance through fear and power. Mary recayed the depths of rituals, revealing intentions buried beneath their facade a tapestry that entwined trauma within manipulation, a cloaked in a thin veil of salvation. I witnessed children kept from a achoter not just hidden, but conditioned to accept cruelty as love. It haunts me still, she admitted, her voice choking around the raw memories. Clara listened intently, feeling her heart ache for the children who had known such darkness. With a very tale, she recognized the interconnectedness of courage, the roles of those who had defied that oppressive silence, even in the shadows. There is something you should know, Mary continued, vulnerability etched across her features. Towards the end, it tried to whisper truth into the ears of those who might listen. I had no idea that it would be a young here like you would ultimately break free. The acknowledgement drew the ears to Clara's eyes, it was both a burden to bear and a beacon to inspire. Thank you for sharing this with me. It's important for us to face a very part of our story to ensure we continue fostering a brave future. With consciousness awakened, Clara and Mary devised a plan a collaborative effort to document the truths intertwining their legacies. Together, they would explore not only the darker aspects of their stories but also the transformative power that emerged when individuals chose courage and unity over silence. Almohadilla, chapter 10 written new stories. The weeks that followed were defined by shared purpose and discovery. Clara and Mary delved deeply into the oral stories of the orphanage, recording testimonials, collecting artifacts, and crafting a narrative that would encapsulate their journey from a place of fear to one of healing. Clara began to understand how invaluable it was to unearth the threads that connected the past with the present. The initiative became a communal effort, with children from the orphanage contributing stories, drawings, and recollections, each delicate voice lending vibrant color to the tapestry they sought to create. The very afternoon, the use of the museum became alive with laughter and creativity, and Clara watched with pride as the children poured their hearts onto the pages. They found joy in reimagining the shadows with their own visions artistry blossoming from places of pine, with an unwavering commitment to honor those who had come before them. I want to tell a story, Sophie declared on a day, a challenge electrifying her spirit, a story where brave just like Clara. Her words struck a chord with Clara, and sharing in the exuberance became a beacon for the entire community. What began as a journey into the recesses of darkness became a vibrant celebration of overcoming, reinforcing that joy intertwined with sorrow made them stronger. Aste collection of stories greu, te created a new publication tat celebrated resilience, fillet wit narratives ranging from struggles to triumphs. Clara felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment as she witnessed firsthand how the children reclaiming their voices became architects of their futures. Writing new chapters underscored be op. With Mary Beer said, the due a early organized a launch event, inviting families, former residents and community members. As they prepared for the big day, Clara called shake the fluttering anticipation, hoping that, among the audience, they could foster a renewed sense of community that continued long after the words were spoken. The evening finale arrived, and the energy in the room was palpable. Decorations adorned every corner, a collage of illustrations, quotes, and snippets from collaborative writings. Children stood proudly behind podiums, ready to share their narratives, pulsating with confidence as Clara glanced at the sea of supportive faces. On a day when mixed felt afraid, Clara spoke into the microphone ere art racing, but to heter we can turn that fear into strength. That is our legacy, on a forehead be truth and a refusal to live in silence. The children took turns, each voice a testament to transformation, resonating through the audience. Clara watched the wise come alive, their stories painting the air in vivid ways, a celebration that burst forth like blooming flowers after a long winter. As the last of the children finished their stories, applause erupted. Clara felt the hours of joy waging in her eyes, the overwhelming sense of fulfillment radiating like a warmth through a very soul gathered that evening. They had reshaped their narrative and renewed a commitment to ensure that every child found a voice within the wise of hope. As the night drew to a close, Clara leaned toward Mary was shared a smile of understanding. In unison, they realized that the journey was far from over. This new legacy did not mark an ending, rather it became a continuous loop of healing echoing through generations yet to come. In the backdrop of Chicago, the orphanage had transformed not simply into a museum but a living entity, a testament that even from the deepest shadows, possibilities for light could emerge, flickering with each voice that dared to speak. As Clara stepped outside into the cold night air, she felt as though they had ignited a flame that would endure, illuminating the darkest corners while celebrating the spirit of unity and transformation that had forged their path. In the art of the past light the outlines of futures unwritten, and the strength to craft those stories had awakened in both the children and the community. Embracing the lessons of love, compassion, and courage, they would continue to march forward, forever altering the narrative of their lives and the lives of generations yet to come. Almohadilla chapter 11 Blooming Futures. As the weeks turned into months, the energy surrounding the St. Mary Museum shifted into a lasting movement, on a that resonated far beyond the confines of the orphanage. The stories shared by the children had taken root within the broader community, inspiring individuals to examine their own narratives, grapple with their pasts, and seek avenues for healing. Clara found herself increasingly drawn into initiatives that aimed to span beyond the walls of the orphanage. She partnered with local schools to launch awareness programs focused on emotional resilience, encouraging children to express themselves through storytelling and art. The impact was palpable. The simple act of sharing their experiences bridged the gaps between generations and fostered understanding. During one late spring afternoon, Clara sat in a circle with a group of fifth graders, their hair faces illuminated by the sunlight streaming through the classroom windows. "We're all going to create a story map," she announced, her excitement infectious. "Every story counts, no matter how big or small. Can I draw me cat?" a boy named Leo asked, his fingers twitching with a mix of eagerness and uncertainty. "Absolutely," Clara beamed. "What's your cat's name and what adventures does it go on?" The children erupted into conversations, sharing their dreams and fears as Clara facilitated the session, guiding them in weaving their tales together. The atmosphere buzzed with creativity, laughter spilling out like confetti, vibrant against the backdrop of their individual struggles. Later that week, Clara received an unexpected call. A local television station had taken notice of their initiative. The producer expressed interest in featuring the story of the orphanage, the museum, and the children's journey. Excited but hesitant, Clara gathered her courage to affirm their participation, recognizing the opportunity to amplify their message. The day of the filming arrived, and Clara felt nervous yet exhilarated. Children practiced their lines, recounting their stories of hope, laughter mingling with anxiety. They became the stars, poised to spread their message of resilience into the wider world. As cameras rolled, Clara introduced te event, ere art swelling wit pride as te children to octurns sharing ter tales. Each narrative resonated deeply, hecho introg te studio like a chorus of transformation ting head with vulnerability. Fears can change into strength, Sophie declared confidently, era sparkling as gestuod before te camera, capturing the magic of their collective evolution. The sincerity of their voices transported viewers to a space filled with hope and authenticity, illuminating the crucial importance of unity. After the show aired, Clara watched the impact ripple across social media, a groundswell of support and admiration poured in, with countless families reaching out. The stories changed lives, and the inquiries about visiting the museum surged as the narrative spread like wildfire across Chicago. Amidst the excitement, Clara recognized that while the museum provided a sanctuary for ailing, it also needed to evolve continually to meet the needs of the community. With Mary Beer side, they envisioned new programs that would cultivate leadership among the children, allowing them to become advocates for themselves and others. What about a mentorship program? Mary proposed on a day her enthusiasm palpable, children guiding other children, creating a lasting network of support. Clara nodded e artened bite idea. They began crafting plans to recruit volunteers who would guide the youth through various activities, from workshops to community service. The aim was clear, nurture the growth of resilience and empower children to become agents of change in their own lives. With the program kicking off, an announcement went out to parents and caregivers, encouraging them to participate. Clara felt a shifting energy within the community, and a eagerness to connect that would foster ailing. That summer, the program launched with bright banners and a arts filling the grounds of the orphanage. Clara envisioned a web of relationships weaving together children supporting children, reinforcing the essence of their shared struggles and triumphs. As mentors and mentees structured their rapport, Clara observed a transformation, a sense of confidence rising as the children shared their experiences openly, embracing vulnerability while discovering strength in unity. Lauter resonated through the 11 quiet eyes where shadows had lingered, echoing a legacy of resilience. On afternoon, Clara listened intently as a young girl named Mia shared her narrative with her mentor, an older girl named Lila. I felt scared at first, Mia confessed, her small voice barely more than a whisper. But then I learned that my story really mattered. Lila nodded, eyes shining, exactly. Your story helps others see they aren't alone. We can be brave together. Clara reflected on how their collective bravery had become a tapestry of advocacy, fostering empathy throughout the connections they forged. Witnessing the joy cascade through the children, Clara understood that life was more than just facing fears. It was about finding purpose amidst pain and creating a legacy filled with intention. The community began to host open forums, inviting families to gather in the museum to discuss child welfare, mental health, and ways to move forward together. As conversations shifted from mere awareness to actionable steps, Clara felt a growing momentum. Through shared experiences, individuals no longer stood divided by silence but united in the quest for understanding and empathy. Clara's heart brimmed as the children continued to blossom, nourished by a newfound voice, they stood together, weaving hope into their futures. However, as summer faded into autumn, Clara faced an unexpected challenge that would test their resolve once more. A local journalist, drawn to sensational stories, caught wind of the orphanage's dark past and sought an expose filled with sensational claims. Fear rippled through Clara, threatening to unravel the threads they had so carefully woven. The community deserved a narrative steeped in integrity, on a that felt their progress rather than stocked anxieties rooted in yesterday's turmoil. With the weight of responsibility perched upon her shoulders, Clara Caneuche would have to confront this challenge head-on, ensuring that the ardent legacy they had built would shine above any attempt to cast shadows anew. Together with Mary, Clara prepared to navigate the complexities of truth once more, steadfast in their commitment to illuminate the voices of those who had found warmth amidst the cooling winds of their shared journey. The team had come for them to rise again, and shored in unity and the resilience that defined their past while forging ahead into an unknown future. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 12 Rising Tides. As the local journalist prepared to publish an article casting shadows back upon the orphanage, Clara felt the weight of the impending storm brewing. It threatened everything they had worked so hard to achieve, a celebration of resilience no marred by a reminder of the past. On the day of the article's release, Clara gathered the children in the museum, knowing that they needed to face this together. Te familiar warmth of te space was overshadowed by an uncomfortable tension, e ach childs face mirroring concernas te awaited teneus. Claras tood before tem, drawing on inner strength, todai we mig te arting stat maceus uncomfortable. Remember or past does not define wo we are no. Webe al grown, antogeter, webe built a future were or voices matter. The children not dead, te resolve roted de per tan anifear. Clara reassured tem, gathering their collective energy to confront whatever lie ahead. As te die unfolded, Clara monitored social media, anxiously watching reactions to the article. It was filled with sensationalism, emphasizing the darker story while glossing over the renewed, opetat flourished within the museum. Snippets of outrage and empathic support blended together as the community weighed in. But rather than bucle under the pressure, Clara saw an opportunity to amplify the positive strides they had made. Amidst the chaos, she reached out to local community leaders, teachers, and families, individuals who had witnessed firsthand the transformation taking place at the orphanage. The night of the scheduled town meeting arrived, and Clara took her place at the front of the room, flanked by Mary mentors and a powerful group of children prepared to share their voices. A palpable air of determination filled the space as community members filled the auditorium. Thank you all for being here tonight, Clara began, her voice steady and powerful. We gather not to dwell on the shadows of our past, but to celebrate the journey we've undertaken together. We have emerged stronger, and our mission remains clear, where we not be defined by scandal, but by our commitment to healing and hope. Her words ignited conversations as community members began to share their own experiences, moments of resilience both big and small, echoing intentions of growth and progress. Teachers recounted the impact the museum had on their students, speaking about the renewed sense of confidence they observed. Each child in our community deserves to be heard. We must remind them that their stories matter, on a teacher proclaimed, igniting approval throughout the crowd. As Clara listened, she felt the transformative pulse of unity, a collective decision to rise together in the face of adversity. Discussions painted the room with the colors of empathy, the shadows shrinking under the collective warmth of understanding and determination. Yet as the voices floated freely, the journalist appeared at the back of the room, taking notice and recording reactions. A sense of unease curled in Clara's stomach, knowing that their efforts would land in the hands of someone seeking only a compelling story rather than a collaborative truth. The following week, Clara and Mary received an unexpected visit from the journalist wanting to cover the aftermath of the meeting. Clara felt a mix of curiosity and wariness, however they agreed to speak, hoping they could redirect the narrative. We focus on resilience and awareness, Clara stated as they sat in the cafe, looking at the journalist's quarrelly in the eye. Our past is part of our story, but it no longer defines who we are. We are actively engaging with the community to ensure we foster an environment of hope, love, and understanding. Mary chimed in, the needs of our children surpass any dark past, they need affirmations that stories of survival can fuel their ambitions. The journalist nodded his interest piqued. What do you say to those who feel the old shadows are still strong? Epres said, glancing sharply. Clara leaned forward, resolve unwavering. We say our strength is born from facing those shadows. The community is transforming. We are fortifying networks to ensure no child faces the darkness alone. Every setback ignites our resolve to protect the futures of those who come after us. They engaged in a profound discussion that spanned across the themes of healing, unity, and the courage to confront fears head-on. Clara felt empowered, reasserting the messages of hope she had shared with the children while straddling the delicate balance of honesty regarding the past. As weeks progressed, Clara and Mary understood that transformation demanded persistence. Positive outreach and community-driven programs flourished, igniting a sense of harmony within the neighborhood. Clara began collaborating with local artists and educators, aiming to create an annual festival celebrating their collective journey, gathering that emphasized resilience intertwined with creativity. Anticipation swelled as they prepared for the inaugural event. Clara envisioned an open space where families could share laughter, art, food, and stories, a vivid celebration of the strength that had bloomed from adversity. On the day of the festival, the grounds of the orphanage thrummed with energy. Colorful banners fluttered, music danced upon the air, and the laughter of children filled the atmosphere with buoyant joy. Clara felt a sense of elation as the community came together to embrace love, healing, and understanding. Welcome everjone, se annonsed into te microfone ere art soaring. Todai, we celebrate not just our stories but the beauty of resilience tat unites usai. Ashe welcomed te guests, neighbors and families, te warmth of community enveloped clara. Parents gateredas te children showcased their artwork, paintings, poems and performances, are resonating with the messages of resilience te ad cultivated throughout the years. Clara stepped back, watching each child shine with confidence, their smiles bring their tan ever as they shared their journeys of hope. This festival wasn't just a coming to together. It symbolized a commitment to forging paths that would ripple through generations, ensuring that children would only walk into brilliant futures inspired by their past. Among the vibrant colors and joyful laughter, Clara caught sight of Sophie, no a budding artist who showcased their drawings, each one infused with experiences of courage. Their eyes met and Clara felt her heart swell with gratitude. Sophie had become a powerful embodiment of transformation, a testament to the strength nurtured within their museum. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Clara realized that the festival was not only an end to a chapter but a beginning, a renewed commitment to building a brighter community that learned from the shadows, yet chose to rise above them. In that moment, surrounded by love, laughter, and the collective voices of those said, Clara understood that the legacy of the Saint Mary Orphanage was no longer bounded by fear. Instead, it expanded toward uncharted territories of hope, where every story mattered and together they could embrace the light every day anew. As the festivities unfolded, Clara felt an overwhelming sense of connection within her community. The festival bloomed not just as a celebration of their resilience, but as a reaffirmation that every child's journey mattered and every story deserved to be told. Parents and children mingled, with each interaction weaving a tighter fabric of solidarity. As faces lit up in laughter and were animated by the thrill of creativity, Clara's heart swayed with hope. She had witnessed the evolution of fear into strength, darkness into light, and in that moment, she claimed the belief in a future filled with endless possibilities. Moving through the crowd, Clara paused to watch a group of children gathered around a storytelling booth, where one of their mentors animatedly recounted tales of adventure and bravery. The children listened, their eyes with wonder, absorbing the encouragement woven into each narrative thread. It was a living reminder that their own stories could inspire others, just as they had been inspired. Mary joined, standing beside Clara as they soaked in the atmosphere. Look at them, she sighed, her voice said with warmth. They're free to be what they are, to embrace their truths. Clara smiled cannowingly, and that's what this is all about. We've created a space where they can feel loved and accepted no matter what. The legacy we're building is one that celebrates connection and understanding. As the sun set, painting the sky into a spectacular canvas, the festival culminated in a wholesome gathering as attendees lit lanterns and released them into the twilit. Clara felt a surge of emotion as the soft glow illuminated the faces around her, each flickering light a testament to hope, unity, and resilience. With the lanterns floating upwards, Clara recognized that their journey was never just about confronting the past, but about choosing to illuminate the future on a story at a time. This is our legacy, she thought. A promise to cherish and protect every voice that rises to share their truth. Later that evening, as the festival drew to a close, Clara stood amidst the remaining lanterns, reflecting on the transformative power of community and connection. An awareness was said over the shadows would always exist, but they could never dominate the narrative of those who chose courage and love. As she breathed in the cool evening air, Clara knew that their collective commitment to healing and understanding would shape not just their lives, but generations beyond. The laughter would echo in the eyes of Saint Mary Orphanage and extend into homes, weaving through the very heart of Chicago. And as the last lantern drifted into the night sky, Clara lifted her chin, ready to embrace the dawn of new stories waiting to be double written, a future ripe with possibility, legacy, and the unyielding light of resilience that would continue to shine, casting away darkness on a courageous step at a time.